Welcome everyone to the L7C Podcast College Football Edition. Today we are at the week 4 that we have been talking about since week 2. There's a lot of big games we're going to be talking about, but before we get there, we got to tell you what happened in week 3. We got the boys with us, L7C Day 1's Byron and Cedric. How are you guys doing today?
Doing good today. Doing good. Can't complain.
Yeah, man. It's been a good day so far. Can't complain at all.
I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. But gentlemen, we're at week 4. Like I already said, a lot of big games we're going to be previewing a couple minutes down the road. But we got to talk about week 3. We thought it was going to be a little lackluster. There was an upset. There were some close calls. But first, we got to talk about the Ohio State Buckeyes who are playing against Western Kentucky at home. And Byron, take it away.
Well, the Buckeyes won that game 63-10. Just an amazing performance all around. Kyle McCord, 19 for 23, 318 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He did have one fumble that Western Kentucky covered. Devin Brown came in at the end because we were dominating, so he did 3 for 4, 40 yards. He did have his first college touchdown and 1 interception. Travion Henderson, 13 carries, 88 yards, 2 touchdowns. Mayan Williams, 5 carries, 23 yards. Didn't have any touchdowns. Skip Trainum, 5 carries, 56 yards, 1 touchdown. Marvin Harrison Jr. just being Marvin Harrison Jr., 5 receptions, 128 yards, 1 touchdown. Emeka Ibuka, 4 receptions, 57 yards, 2 touchdowns. Kate Stover got a lot of yards in this game. So yeah, 5 receptions, 90 yards. He's kind of quiet last game, so it's good to see a resurgence from him. He did have 1 fumble. Parnell Tate had 2 receptions, 40 yards. He caught Brown's first touchdown for the season. Defense had a good day. 2 sacks, 2 fumble recoveries, 1 forged touchdown, and then 2 interceptions and 1 forged touchdown. So it was good to see our defense play lights out against Western Kentucky.
Awesome. Cedric, what did you like about what you saw from the Buckeyes this week?
Offense seemed to be clicking on all cylinders. That's honestly moving forward. I think that's going to be extremely important. I really like seeing Travion Henderson getting some yards, getting some touchdowns. Like Byron said, he scored 2 touchdowns. That's, I think, huge moving forward. The one thing I will say is all the Kyle McCord people worried. Are you still worried now? 3 touchdowns, 300 yards passing. Literally only missed 4 passes.
Oh, yeah. They are singing a completely different tune. The Kyle McCord people had his best game so far in this young season in the offense. 35 points in the second quarter. I mean, that's the explosion a lot of fans have been looking for.
Mm-hmm.
So, anything in the game you guys didn't like?
I would have liked to see Mayan a little bit more, but I mean, shoot, Henderson was rolling, Travion was rolling, but I don't know, especially from like his kind of great performance last year, being that second option that we needed in the backfield.
Mm-hmm.
I would have liked to see him out there a little bit more, but it is what it is.
Byron?
Yeah, I agree. 5 carries for 23 yards is a little low for him, but we'll see what happens with the rest of the season.
Fair enough for the rest of the season with big stuff coming up this week. But before we go to week 4 and we go through that other stuff in week 3, Colorado State had the double overtime 10:30 kickoff game. So that game didn't get done until around 2 a.m. Obviously, there was a lot of smack talk between their coach saying, I was raised when I'm talking to someone, I take my hat off and my sunglasses, a clear shot at Dion. And Colorado was a 21-point favorite, and they're lucky that they won this game, guys. And obviously their best player, Travis Hunter, got hurt on that cheap shot. But Dion's son and QB willed them through, and they got the dub.
I mean, there was a point I thought Colorado State was going to win because they were going to halftime with the lead. But overall, they had 17 penalties for 182 yards and 4 turnovers, which is not going to help you win the game. So they kind of lost the game by themselves. But like you said, Shedeur Sanders, man, he had a great fourth quarter and great overtime to lead Colorado to the win.
He said he went Brady mode.
Yeah. Well,
he said they left him too much time. Cedric, anything you want to talk about with Coach Prime as they are now 3-0?
Keeping my watch on this week.
As Buckeye fans, and Byron, you shared it a little bit earlier about Joe Klatt talking about every time we think the sky is falling, all this stuff. And typical college football, a week before a big week, some teams are going to look ahead. There was a lot of teams in the top of the rankings who were looking ahead. Number one team in the country, defending two-time champs, Georgia, was in a real game. They were in a fight in the fourth quarter with South Carolina. There was a point where South Carolina was leading through halftime, and then Georgia squeaked it out in the end. But it was their first real opponent this year, like real D1 team. What were your thoughts seeing Georgia struggle a little bit, then coming out with the win against Spencer Rattler?
I was shocked because we've talked about on this podcast how Georgia had basically a cake schedule throughout this year, so they probably weren't going to get tested until the SEC championship game. But South Carolina, man, they came in to prove a point, but just in that second half, Georgia did Georgia things.
Patrick?
Honestly, I was just shocked that their quarterback didn't throw a single interception or throw a touchdown. But almost had 300 yards passing. Like, that is really weird to me that he's spreading the ball out that well. I mean, their running game is what saved them. I think I was watching that game. I was tuned in. Like, it was that game and Alabama's game. I was really watching this Georgia game because I'm like, well, this could be it. If they don't get it together, I was like, this could be it. They could lose. Then that's kind of a wrap for them for a little while.
Spencer Rattler was cooking them in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
And then it all tumbled.
That Georgia defense, man, is too powerful.
And then Cedric already talked about Alabama. Alabama coming off that loss against Texas, typical SEC, schedule a big school, have a weak school after, or conference play, have a weak school before your rivals, stuff like that. They were playing UCF, and they started a new quarterback. And it was not a cakewalk. It was 3-3 going into the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm. I think what didn't help Alabama is they couldn't make up their mind who they wanted to play quarterback because they had Tyler Buckner, who got the start. He went 5 for 14 for 30 yards. Then Ty Simpson came in at quarterback, and he went 5 for 9 for 73 yards. So I think they should have kept Jalen Moreau as a starter, even though
they've already switched back to.
I know, which is crazy. Should have just kept him against this game, but Saban is being Saban, so.
Like, this is UCF, and I have to correct myself. It was 3-3 going into halftime, and we're all like, what's going on? Then Alabama scored 0 points in the first quarter against South Florida Bulls. 0 points. Then 3 points in the second, 1 touchdown in the third, 1 touchdown in the fourth. Came out 17-3. But this was a ball game, man, when, like, they did not look good. Cedric, what were your thoughts on? You said you were glued into this one as well, the SEC powers. But
oh, yeah. I mean, shoot, this game, I'll say this. I was happy that the rain happened because, shoot, if Alabama would have kept throwing the ball, they probably would have fucking lost this game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, their running back ripped off 129 yards. That is what saved them. 129 yards, 1 touchdown. USF could not stop the run game. And, of course, I mean, it's Alabama's defense. Like, they're still the top 5-star recruits out here on the field. So, like, they're not going to let USF score touchdowns. So it was just a question of, could USF hold off Alabama? Eventually that weather broke and it came back and played, and they just didn't have it. But we'll see what Milroe does. I think Saban honestly was just trying to find other options. I really don't get the OSU quarterback option there. But I just know things in Tuscaloosa aren't looking so calm and collected. There's a lot of conversations I know going on down there.
Yeah, and it's looking like the SEC this year, especially, like Byron, you talked about earlier, we talked about Alabama's easy schedule to the SEC championship game. So far, I don't know if these teams are as strong as we think they are at the current moment, because you talk about the team that we thought might give Georgia a game in the SEC East, Tennessee. They got upset by Florida. Florida bullied them.
Florida bullied them.
Man.
Yeah, Trevor Etienne. Yeah, 23 carries for 172 yards and a touchdown. That's Tennessee defense could not stop them.
And this is the same Florida team that week 0, we saw them get smoked by Utah's backup quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy, man.
So it's like, so already the team that we thought, oh, may give Georgia a game, they lost to Florida, and Florida's not good. Alabama's over here struggling against UCF. Georgia, South Carolina, but the rest of the thing, like you said, is cakewalk. The SEC West, I don't think Alabama's coming out again. I think it's going to be LSU again, man.
It's looking like it the way they played on Saturday, man. They're playing with some fire after that loss to FSU.
It's wide open. We don't know what we don't know what Mississippi is going to do, because obviously they're playing against Alabama this week, which we're going to preview, but the SEC, it's looking wide open, more wide open than we thought.
Mm-hmm.
And Byron, you brought up Florida State. They were looking ahead. They were in the final 2-minute game against Boston College. Matt Ryan doesn't play at Boston College anymore. Like,
man,
that went down to the wire.
It really did. Like, overall, like, BC had 18 penalties for 131 yards. Again, you can't have that many penalties if you expect to win the game. But at one point, BC was up 10-3. And then FSU scored 28 unanswered points to go up 31-10. BC comes back to score 19 unanswered points to make it 31-29. But then BC fumbles on their last drive, and that was it.
It's like, fucking wild.
And they got a big game. Like, these games it's a classic look ahead to this week 4, because this week 4 is going to change a lot of things and be the first impactful big week of the season. Because then you even go down to Big 12. The Big 12 champ, Kansas State, they went down to Missouri, who's surprisingly undefeated right now.
Man,
on a 61-yard field goal.
Yeah, respect to Harrison Melvis for kicking that 61-yard field goal. But Kansas State to win the Big 12, man, they lose to Missouri.
They said call us Mizzou.
Oh man, it was just a lot. Like, when you don't expect crazy in college football gets crazy.
Mm-hmm. That's why I love college football, man.
And then maybe one of the most craziest things that we're ever going to talk about on the L7C podcast, Iowa scored 41 points.
Didn't think they had it in them.
I didn't even know if they scored 41 points like halfway through the year last year combined.
No, I think their most points last year was like 33, and that was pretty much for their defense.
These men, what? Who let them score 41
Western
points?
Michigan.
Oh wow!
It's just the fact. It's the fact that I got alerts from my sports app saying Iowa scored 41 points. That's crazy. Wow. And they were losing that game 7-0 in the first quarter. Then they went 14, 17, 10 to close that out.
Jeez, man, looking at how many running backs they got. Lord.
Oh, man. And another thing from what we talked about last week, Michigan State officially fired Mel Tucker with cause about the stuff he was doing. He put a statement. He said there's agendas going on, and he's going to sue because, he just lost out on $80-something million.
Yeah, well, I'm not surprised he's suing.
Yeah.
You can't just lose 80 mil on just like losing 80 mil. You can't just let that. You can't wash your hands on that.
Man, I just feel maybe just because obviously, I mean, African American head coach, you get almost a 90 million guaranteed thing. All you have to do, like reading, don't mess with anyone who's associated with the school. And you're out there doing what you're doing, putting $80 million at risk.
The man wasn't about his bag, apparently.
And
man.
And the person that those allegations on stuff, like with the phone and all that, was a person who Michigan State was calling in to talk to the players on the team about that type of misconduct and not to do it.
Wow.
Oh wow. No,
it's one of the biggest fumbles. It's one of the biggest fumbles I've seen.
That's why he's suing.
It's crazy, man.
He can't let it go. He's like, man, no, I did nothing wrong. Oh, well, you did something wrong, boss. You got fired.
Right.
You don't just get fired like that, like, and lose out on all that money. Like, nah, like, fucking up out here.
And then one other thing just before we go into week 4. Obviously, rankings came out. Really wasn't that much change, but obviously the Ohio, Ohio State fans, all that. Ohio State's the only team that'll win its games and go down in rankings, but Alabama, Florida State, Georgia, all struggling. Nothing.
All right, they struggle against unranked teams and don't drop, but okay. What was it, last week? We won by like 10 points and dropped a spot.
Mm-hmm.
Makes no sense.
I mean, they don't love us.
Yeah, that's that's really the nice, easy way to say it. I mean, because it really makes no sense. Because if that was us in the fourth quarter dogfight against South Florida, man.
Well, I guess Alabama did drop 3 spots to 13.
I mean, they dropped Florida State by 1, but it doesn't really mean, like I said, it doesn't really mean anything.
No. And Alabama is kind of crazy. It's the first time they're not in the top 10 in, I think they said 7 to 8 years.
Oof, wow. I know Saban
not in the top 10.
I know Saban is hot right now.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
And the thing is, kind of crazy. Team, I think, with team with the most ranked teams. The conference is 9, the Pac-12.
Mm-hmm. They've had the most ranked teams, I think, since last week.
Yep, they're showing out.
As a farewell tour, they got to.
Oh.
Then Florida hopped back in there at 25. But all right, let's talk week 4, guys. This is a big week. Sent y'all the games. Got guys listening to this pod from 12 p.m. Saturday. You're gonna have big games from 12 p.m. all the way till 7:30. So from 12 to 7, there's gonna be a big game almost every 3 hours. We're gonna go in order from the times these games are on, but we will leave the Buckeye game for our last one. First one is obviously changed because this team has lost, but it's still a big game for Florida State. Florida State at Clemson, 12 p.m. ABC. Clemson has won this game 7 years straight. And at the time of Sunday, Florida State was only a 1.5-point favorite. This is Dabo. This is a big game for Florida State. This is where their season crumbled last year. And then they lost to 3 straight. And then Clemson wins the ACC. Clemson needs to win to keep any ACC shot alive, to put them back in the top 25. Clemson loses this game, it's over. In theory, unless the ACC just all starts killing each other. But Byron, does Florida State fully say this is our conference to win this Saturday? Do they beat Clemson?
I think they do.
Okay.
I don't trust Clemson after that Duke embarrassment.
Fair enough. No, that's a fair point. Fair point. Cedric, who you got? Clemson, Florida State.
I'm going with Florida State. I think last week was the look ahead effect. And I think they'll take care of business this week. I think they'll come in with a new attitude, really focused on it. Because, I mean, I've seen what they can do when they're on their business. And, man, and they put it on people.
Mm-hmm.
To prove that they're finally for real and they're going to win this conference, they got to beat the person who's been running the conference for 10 years. Yeah, Clemson's looked poor, but Dabo's going to get his people up. This is their biggest game left. And if they don't win this, they have no more big games. It's just going to be about Clemson. If they win this, they're right back in the mix.
Yeah.
But I'm going Florida State. I'm going Florida State with y'all. So 3 for Florida State there. Number 19, Colorado versus number 10, Oregon. Finally, a big game for Coach Prime at Oregon, 3:30 ABC. On Sunday, the line was Oregon 20.5. It's probably went up a little bit because Travis Henry, Colorado's best player, will not be playing for the next couple weeks. And what you're talking about a worst time to lose your best player? This is a bad time to lose your best player.
It really is. I just looked at it. Actually only went up by half, so it's only Oregon minus 21 now.
Cedric, Oregon, Colorado, Oregon. Coach Prime's going to Oregon. Who you got in this one?
Honestly, just for the constant shit talk, because that was the Oregon coach last year, right? When they announced like Colorado's all these conferences were leaving, he's like, "What has Colorado done? What have they won?"
Yes, that was them.
Yeah.
Man, honestly, if Travis Hunter was still around, I'd be willing to gamble on Colorado.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Oregon. I mean, they're 3-0. They proved they can win in that conference. So,
I like it. I like it. Oregon's got to win. I mean, both these teams got to win, obviously, for trying to get to the Pac-12 championship later down the line. But Oregon's been this team where a couple years ago they beat Ohio State, then they stubbed themselves in the toe. They don't get in the playoffs. Like they're always around. It's just they never finish the deal in the Pac-12. So, Byron, who you got in this one? Colorado, Oregon. Colorado's a 21-point underdog.
I don't know, man. This one was tough to pick a one. I'm going to say Colorado. They proved, they can survive after 2 overtimes against Colorado State, and Colorado State played them tough. So Oregon's going to play them tough as well. Losing Travis Hunter does hurt them because he plays both sides of the ball, but Shedeur Sanders, man, he has over 1,200 yards, 10 touchdowns, only 1 interception. And then Bo Nix has 893 yards and 8 touchdowns. So I think Colorado might get it.
I'm going to go with Cedric. I'm going to go with Oregon. I just feel like we're really going to know if Colorado wins this game and then they win next week at USC, against USC, we're going to have to seriously consider thinking about Colorado in the playoff.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like now you're about to play this talented team. Oregon knows what's at hand. I think Oregon's going to win, but I don't think Colorado is going to get smoked.
If Colorado beats Oregon and then beats USC,
they control their own destiny, and they just
not only that, but you also got to talk about Shedeur Sanders for the Heisman.
That is yes, that is a good point, Cedric. Very good point. I would put him at number 1 at the Heisman. He beats both of them back to back. I would put him number 1 in the Heisman. Yeah, I just think so. I guess I would say Oregon wins, but Colorado's going to cover. They're not going to lose by 21.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. I would say this is a good game. That's a good gambler's one right there.
They're not going to lose by 21. But Pac-12 got some big games because at 3:30, the Oregon game's on ABC, but 3:30 on Fox, you got 22 UCLA at number 11 Utah. Another team, as Buckeye fans, we know Utah. We know they can play. They got 3:30 Fox the line. Utah 5 points. Byron, who you going there?
I'm actually going UCLA. So both teams are 1 and 2 in points allowed per game in the Pac-12. 2 and 3 in yards allowed per game in the Pac-12. However, UCLA is 5th in yards per game, and Utah is only 11th in yards per game. So I think UCLA's offense will overpower Utah's defense. Also, Utah almost lost to Baylor last week.
They were looking ahead too.
1 and 2, exactly. So
Is
I got
Cam Rising
UCLA in
back?
this game. He is. They haven't declared him back yet, so if not, their backup Nate Johnson will be playing. But if Cam Rising is starting, it might be Utah because Cam Rising is.
Cedric, who you got in this 22 UCLA versus number 11 Utah?
I would love to see UCLA pull it off, but I think Utah's going to get them. I think it'll be a close game. I really do. Like, I don't think it'll be like a high scoring bout that sometimes we see in the Pac-12. I honestly think both teams will have under 30 points easily. I think maybe one of them has 20, one of them doesn't, or has like in the teens. But I think Utah will walk away.
I mean, I think it's another one. I don't think UCLA, and they're going to keep this real close. I think Utah is going to win, especially if it comes out on Friday, Saturday that Cam Rising is good to go.
Yeah.
It's going to be a different one. But, man, I really hope for the people listening that you're able to switch these channels fast because you got another big 3:30 game, this time in the SEC. Number 15, Ole Miss, at number 13, Alabama, 3:30. Alabama favored by 6.5 as of Sunday. Cedric, who you taking?
Man, look, goddamn. Oh, I'm a big Bama. And the only reason is because God help them boys if they lose this game. Like, Nick Saban may actually catch a fucking case in Tuscaloosa if they lose to Ole Miss.
Maybe he should keep working instead of doing Pat McAfee show every Thursday. But as you know,
well, it's none of my business.
Byron,
Man,
Ole Miss. This is Kiffin's boys.
Lane Kiffin, man. As much as I would love to see Ole Miss upset Alabama, like Cedric said, God help them boys if they lose to Ole Miss. I think Bama's got it. I think Milroe is going to come back and play with a vengeance, and Saban set him last week. So he's going to kind of say, no, Saban, this is why I should be a starter. So I think Bama's got it.
Well, it's a good thing they're in the South and religious because God is going to help them because Ole Miss is going to win this game. Let's go.
Oh,
yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I'm gonna remember that when we see Saban on the news on Dateline.
Oh,
I was like, Martin said God was going to save them kids.
Yes, sir. Churches on college football's played on Saturday. Churches on Sunday for a reason for them kids.
Some of them kids ain't making it to church if they lose that game.
Oh, well, it's a good thing. Oh, that ain't my problem. So,
wow.
But Ole Miss is winning that game. Up my upset. Let's do it.
That's your upset. Okay.
Bro, after I saw that game, hell nah. Hell no. After South Florida, nah, bro. But
I
Cedric's
didn't even
right.
see Milroe play that game, man. That wasn't Milroe's fault.
I know it wasn't, but man, Cedric right, because Saban really might go in that locker room and was like, hey, if we lose, don't come back in here.
Nah, Saban may go in that locker room and was like, we lose. They ain't check my body when I come out on this field.
I'm just saying.
They ain't no metal detector for me.
That's my upset of this big slate. Another Pac-12 one, man. 14 Oregon State at number 21 Washington State. These Pac-12 teams all need to win because they got to keep up with each other. Oregon State favored by 2.5. Byron, who you got? At 7 p.m. on Fox, FYI.
I got Oregon State. They're only allowing 11 points per game in the Pac-12, which is number 3 compared to Utah and UCLA. And then they're first in yardage allowed per game. So defensively, they're really good. So I think they're going to take the dub.
Cedric, who you got?
Let me get the Beavers.
Okay. What conference is Oregon State going to?
That's a great question.
Let me find out. No,
Does Washington State still don't got a conference?
Washington State and I forgot the other one. It might be Oregon.
I said like Stanford. Where's Stanford going?
ACC. I think that's where they're going. I just need to know. I didn't know where these schools are going before I say what I want to say. But I think so. This is 7 p.m. too.
If I had to guess, I would say Oregon State would try to go Big 12.
Yeah, I feel like that'd be the smart one as our own stats gurus over there, Byron, checking out this, trying to look for conference realignment. But as Byron's looking at that, you know what, man? Give me Washington State, home team at night. This is going to be their biggest game. Tell everyone who's leaving the Pac-12, adios. We're taking it.
Okay.
They're not going to win, but I want to pick Washington State. So,
apparently, Oregon State is not one that's moving. Oh, I know there's two teams. I think it's Washington State and Oregon State.
Oh, so this is a real battle of pride. These are the last two that are going to be left.
They talk about who's going to run it next year.
I know. Oh man, I'll take Washington State at home. I'll take them. This game that I didn't think would become a big game, but it has become a big game now. This one will be at 7:30 on CBS. Number 24 Iowa at number 7 Penn State. CBS. Penn State's favored by 14. Cedric, who you got? We know what it's like there at Happy Valley at night.
Oh yeah, bro, it's Happy Valley at night. It's a whiteout. Their asses is cake. I'm going Penn State.
I don't have any.
I'm sorry.
Wait, they officially announced it's a whiteout?
I have to assume it's Happy Valley.
If it's night. If it's white, it's curtains. It's curtains.
Why else what other color are you wearing at night? 7:30, Happy Valley. On
CBS.
What else are you going to wear?
Unless Iowa's defense really do something, it really might be it for them boys.
Because they offense ain't doing that again.
And this will be a good chance for Ohio State fans. If you haven't watched Penn State, they got some players again. It's kind of nerve-wracking again.
They do have some players.
Byron, who you got in that?
Penn State. Iowa's not good offensively. No offense to Brian Ferentz, but he's not a good offensive coordinator.
There's no offense. There's all offense. He sucks.
Oh, man.
Yes.
K. McNamara, who played for Michigan the last 3 years, is their starting quarterback. He only has 139 passing yards per game. That's a QB coach. What are you doing?
That tells you something right there. Either one or two things. Either K was trash or that Iowa just has no offensive creativity.
Or both.
Yeah, I think we're all going Penn State there. 14. I don't know if they'll. I mean, if they beat the hell out of Penn, rankings are going to be very interesting next week. I'm going to tell you what.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, you guys know what the last game we're talking about is. Number 6 Ohio State and number 9 Notre Dame. 7:30 NBC / if you have DirecTV or AT&T. You have to watch this game on Peacock because they have not finished their deal yet. So that's still going.
Oh, yeah, Martin. Sorry, but it's been announced it's a whiteout game.
Penn State by 21 plus.
Damn, sorry.
Sports Illustrated has it. It's like their Penn State will host Iowa on September 23rd for the annual whiteout game.
Oh, no.
Sports Illustrated. It's also all over Reddit.
Oh, yeah, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. It's over. But you already know where College GameDay. College GameDay is going to be at Notre Dame for the 6 versus 9 matchup, 7:30. This is NBC's biggest game they've had. On Sunday, the line was OSU by a literal field goal. Just quick fun facts. With Game Day coming there, the Fighting Irish were the first program to host Game Day, and Ohio State was the first program that Lee Corso started doing the headgear. That was his first headgear pick.
Shout out to Lee Corso.
Who just had his 400th pick last week. Man, we've been talking about this one. Finally here, 3 points. So we're literally favored by 1 field goal. Oh, man, we got to break this down as we do for big OSU games. First throw to Byron. OSU will win this game if they do what?
If our defense shows up like they did against Western Kentucky. Sam Hartman can play his ass off. I'll see him throw 7 touchdowns against a good Clemson team. He has over 1,000 yards passing through 4 games and 13 touchdowns. If we can get to him and force him to make some mistakes, I think that will be our key to victory. Also, we need to contain their running back, Audric Estime. He's been averaging over 130 yards per game through 4 games, and I think he has like 5 touchdowns. So if we can contain those two, I think we can win the game.
Cedric, OSU will win this game if they do what?
OSU will win this game if they can boss up on defense. I think our offense is going to be fine right now. I think it will take time. This will definitely be a battle, but we need to keep them from getting into the end zone. We have to keep them from scoring if we want to win this game.
And then flowing on the flip side, other things. If OSU is going to lose this game, if what happened?
I was gonna say if we're not good offensively, like this is Kyle McCord's like first road game against a top 10 opponent. I know we think he played last year against Toledo when CJ Stroud was out that one game, but this is Notre Dame. So if he doesn't play like he played against Western Kentucky or against we played that second game, but if he doesn't show up like he did the last 2 games, then we're probably gonna lose.
I think because Indiana was on the road, right? Was Indiana on the road? We played them on the road.
Yes, Indiana was a away game.
Yeah, but I guess
was our first home game.
Yeah, so Kyle McCord's first true at night road game.
Mm-hmm.
Cedric,
this is Notre Dame.
Oh, Cedric, you were going to say what OSU's going to lose if what happens?
If we can't move the ball on the ground. If we can't move the ball on the ground, we are going to lose this game. Because while I love our air attack, our passing game, it's hard to get that busted open and working, especially with Kyle McCord, who sometimes needs to do his proper checkdowns if everyone knows where the ball's going. It's no shock and surprise that Marvin Harrison is going to be double covered the entire fucking game.
Mm-hmm.
And so if he can't get it to anyone else, he's going to keep trying to check for Marvin. That's going to take time. We need to mix it up, have our run game working to help develop our passing game. So if we can't move the ball on the ground, we are going to lose.
I also, my one quick thing, because Byron already said it, if Sam Hartman's going crazy, this game's over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a wrap. Like he's one of the biggest X factors of the game because this is the best quarterback we've played since Stetson Bennett. And then before that, JJ McCarthy. So, like you said, Byron, you've seen him. He's been in big time games of the ACC. He's lit some things up. This is the first time in a long time I've talked to Notre Dame fans that they feel like they have a quarterback, which is dangerous because they feel like they've had everything else. Like, and we're going to their spot. Like, who's going to be an X factor in this game, Byron?
I am going defensively. JTT. He's been quiet so far this season. He's only had like 7 tackles through 3 games, so he's bound for a big game soon. So why not against Notre Dame?
He's been very quiet this year. I expected him to be right up there with like top defensive players in college football. It's been real quiet for him. Cedric, who's your X factor?
I'm probably gonna pick the same one. Denzel Burke popped in my head, but this is the problem because I'm sorry, Denzel, I don't trust you. I just don't. Like, our quarterbacks historically be getting toasted, and this is the prime time to toast it. The bread's in the toaster. It's just waiting to be cooked. It could happen if they aren't on their P and Q. So I'm gonna say JTT. We need that pressure up front. Make this quarterback make some mistakes.
Those are 2 very good picks, and I don't want to pick Kyle McCord or Hartman because we already talked to him. My X factor is going to be Ryan Day. What play calling are we going to have this time? There's sometimes in big games where we randomly get super conservative, and then there's sometimes in big games where we get overly aggressive and invites us. Like, are we going to have that play calling we had against Georgia? Like, that was the Ryan Day that we need. That one who's passionate, like he's doing everything strategically. I mean, if it wasn't for a field goal right before New Year's, we're potentially winning the national championship. That's the coaching we need. If that crowd starts getting rocking, how's our play calling going to change when Kyle McCord throws a pick? How's our play calling going to change when he fumbles? Are we going to get conservative? We're going to stick to the script? Because if they start bombing it on us, we can't. Are we going to try and match them, or are we going to stick to the plan because like Cedric said earlier, we got a lot of good running backs. We do not have to abandon the run just because we get down by a touchdown. So Ryan Day, And that's another thing, because God help us, if he loses this game, you already know the heat is going to rise up again.
My Lord.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to tell y'all right,
man.
I'm going to say this right now. Obviously, there's a season. We have 2 months. As of what day recording, 9/19, we are not beating Michigan. This team right now is not beating the Michigan team I'm seeing. So if I'm already saying we can't beat Michigan, we lose to Notre Dame, that's 2 losses, our season's over.
Yeah.
That's how I'm seeing it. I'm already seeing, at the moment, a loss to Michigan. We can't lose to anyone else.
Yeah, no, there's no way we're beating Michigan this year. The craziest thing for me, though, is
we got to go there. People, remember, we're going to Michigan for the fans listening.
Unless something happens with Michigan. Because I really do think Michigan right now is playing the best college football.
Agreed.
This season. Like, I think right now they are playing the best college football. They are my pick to win it if they stay healthy. Because I just don't know who the fuck's going to stop them. Because if it ain't us, who else is it going to be?
The only other hope would be, if you look at the Big Ten East, man, you got 3 teams in the top 10. Michigan 2, Ohio State 6, Penn State 7. That's the Big Ten East.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just thinking from that standpoint, like this is one of those games. It's changing the fortunes of both teams. If Notre Dame wins, they're gonna be like, Notre Dame's a for real playoff contender again. Ohio State wins, they've shaken off that Indiana thing. Like, they're the real deal. They're clicking. Like this,
yeah.
This is as big as you get in week 4. It truly is. I'm saying,
Buckeye Nation, want your chance to get back in the top 4. But win this week.
And there's something else I need to say. I'm not gonna say who put this stuff out there, but for the people who are like, oh, it doesn't matter now, yada yada yada. When that committee comes in and they remember looking through the scores and saying, oh, number 6 Ohio State beat number 9 Notre Dame at their place by 10 plus points. Those rankings and stuff matter, people. That's what the committee looks at. They don't look at, oh, Ohio State beat Western Kentucky. No, Ohio State beat a top 10 AP team at their place. That stuff matters when it comes down to it. If you remember a couple years ago, that other Ohio team, their biggest win was against Notre Dame, Cincinnati, and they got in the playoffs.
Yep.
And that win carried them. They went undefeated. They're like, they beat a top team in Notre Dame. No, stuff matters, people. So, Captain, who is winning this game?
If Ohio State plays their best football, this game, I'm going to say they're going to win 30-27.
Field goal. Okay. Cover field. I like it. Cedric?
And you said that if we best football?
Well, yeah. Like,
I know, but like, damn, dog. Like, I don't know. I want to say Ohio State. I don't know a score. God help us, everyone.
Oh, all right. Okay. Well, I already got I already picked Washington State and Mississippi, so I'm already upset it out. So I ain't picking Notre Dame. But I am nervous.
for sure.
I will tell you that much. When that ball tips off, I am nervous. That crowd, I don't remember the last time Notre Dame had a big night game like this in a long time.
Man.
I feel like all their big games are always in the afternoon. So it's like,
did they say what color jerseys they're wearing?
I don't think so as of yet.
I hope they're not wearing the green.
Because alumni are going to be there. Ohio State fans are going to be there. Game Day is going to be there.
This will be. I think this will be the season. Like, Michigan to be the most viewed in game on TV.
Oh yeah,
like easily. easily the most viewed game on TV.
Oh,
Just-
yeah, it's.
Oh my God, we need to win.
I think Ohio State wins. Man, we haven't. That's the thing. We haven't played a defense like this in a long time,
Oh man,
Not since Georgia.
and we were able to light them up. But we had a different quarterback at that time, and McCord's not at the level of seat at this moment. So, and we also had some. We had some players who went to the league after that.
yeah,
I'm gonna take a
better offensive line than too.
That's what I'm afraid.
That's true.
I'm afraid of both lines. If we can't get to Hartman, we're gonna lose. If they could get to McCord, we're gonna lose.
Yeah.
But I'm taking Ohio State. I'm taking, man, I'm going to take a low score. I'm going to take 28-27.
1 point game. Okay.
Just 1 point. This is nerve-wracking.
It is.
And in the second to last week of September, this is the biggest game, and it could go so many ways. This could be Kyle McCord's a real coming out party. This could be Marvin Harrison putting himself back in like Heisman Watt.
Mm-hmm.
This could be Marcus Freeman getting the biggest win in Notre Dame's like thing in a long time.
This could be Ryan Day getting ready to pack them bags.
This could be Ryan Day because they're gonna be like, we lost this game and we're already gonna, and then be like, oh, now we need to win the Big Ten
of the games.
the rest of the games. Which I know we talk about Michigan a lot because right now, but if I see Penn State hang 63 on Iowa on Saturday, I'm gonna start getting nervous for them.
Oh man,
This year's wide open, and this is a week that's going to tell a lot of things.
Yeah, week 4, the biggest week in college football. Usually it's like week 6 or 7, but man, this came early.
I mean, week four last year was Tennessee, Alabama.
True. That yeah.
Shit, my phone gonna be off this weekend. Ain't nobody finding me.
And
I got football to watch.
this is the second straight year Ohio State Notre Dame's a top 10 matchup. Just going through some stuff. This is gonna be crazy. This is gonna be wild, man. We're gonna see. With that being said, thank you everyone for listening to the L7C podcast. Big games all around. Literally from when you start watching college football at 12 o'clock to when you're done. OSU game will probably be done around 11. 11 o'clock. I will say for the Buckeye fans out there, I know you're going to be communicating with some of your friends during the game. Only communicate with the rational ones. Because if they're getting smoked, you don't want to go on Twitter. If Ohio State's dominating, you don't want to go on Twitter. Because either or, it's bad. You're either going to be feeling yourselves or you're not going to be feeling yourself. And remember, even if we win this game by 2-5-1, it could be half a point. A win's a win. We still got to go to Ann Arbor at the end of the year. Never lose sight of that. But this is our launching pad. Because after this game, we got a smooth sailing until that little stretch in October.
Yeah.
So we're ready. The boys will be all watching from their different locations, and we'll be back next Tuesday talking about a win-loss. Rankings will be changed. They will be changed. We could be coming on next week saying how Alabama's season's over before it's Halloween. When's the last time we've ever said that?
We've never said that.
Exactly.
Have we ever said that? We've never said that.
They lose. It's over.
They lose. It's funny. They lose. There's some charges being filed. Nick Saban's under investigation.
And think about it. Top 3 teams, Georgia, Michigan, Texas, they all just get to see the chaos that's about to happen. Because they ain't playing anyone of consequence. With that being said, man, L7C podcast, go Bucks. Can't wait to come back next Tuesday to talk about this crazy week 4. Take care. Thank you for listening to this episode of the L7C podcast. Be sure to like, rate, review, and subscribe to the channel. Follow us on all social media platforms, and we'll be talking to you guys soon. Take care.